everybody. Can you hear me fine? Rebecca, can you hear me fine?
Yes, you're coming in loud and clear.
Awesome, awesome. So it's Saturday again, and we are live, and it's gonna be a complete fun session, you guys. So I have Rebecca with me. She happens to be a Red Hatter, and I am extremely privileged that I could get her here. And thank you so much, Rebecca, for joining me today. And I'm super, super excited to have you on my channel today.
Well, it is truly my
So,
pleasure.
yes. So, when before getting started with the session and agenda, I just want to introduce you a little bit. So, as I mentioned, Rebecca is a Red Hatter. She has about 25 years of industry experience, working with different teams, putting together a lot of different projects and making them a success. So, this is a brief, sweet, and successful introduction about her. And she is like an awesome person to have, and somebody you can look up to if you want to succeed a lot in this IT career and this industry exposure. So I would like, Rebecca, if you could introduce yourself a little bit, that will be awesome.
I don't know how I could do any better than what you have just done, Nikita. Thank you so much. It's great to be here. I definitely have the experience that you put before. Um, I have changed my life and changed my uh, jump from setting to setting using just all the tools I have to grow and adapt. So I think that's one reason why I've been successful with teams over time. But I grew up in New York City, and now I own a farm in the middle of nowhere, North Carolina. So many, many life experiences there.
Awesome. So basically, you are from New York City, and currently you are based in North Carolina.
Yes, that is true. And
Awesome.
I lived in a couple of different places within the US. I lived in Pennsylvania and Connecticut and Texas, 3 different states, as well as New
That's
York. So,
okay. So before we get started, I quickly want to ask, how is the situation there? Is it complete lockdown or you guys are moving?
no, we're moving forward. Things are relaxing more. The COVID, uh, the shots and the vaccinations are going out across the state, and we're getting more and more vaccinated. I just had my second vaccination last week. So in 2 weeks, I'll feel comfortable going out into public.
Mm-hmm.
And they might maybe lift the ban off of masks outside, not inside, but outside. So
Okay.
yeah, so
Yeah, but
it's getting positive.
for us, it is getting a little bit shaky and negative, but hopefully
Yes,
we'll get there soon.
yes, I've heard about the total lockdown there. That is just heartbreaking.
I know. No worries. We can utilize this time that we have got to stay at home to learn a little bit and sharpen our skills a little bit. So that's what the intention behind this podcast was. Now that everybody is home, we can grab some of the knowledge that you have and apply wherever it's possible in life. So, getting started with today's agenda. So, we are going to cover how teams work, how can you be gullible and a complete team person, because we all know that how important it is to work in a team, to be a team member, sportsman person, to make your projects or initiative a success. Also, we'll talk about women leadership, how women in tech can be the leaders and lead the community, lead the projects, and make it a complete giant success. So, I thought Rebecca is one of the best person to brief you guys about this. Why? Because I see her continuously, tirelessly working with different sort of teams and people, and she will never give up, no matter how young, how new, or if she knows you or not. She will be just as good as anybody else she knows with you. So, so Rebecca, To start with, I would like to I would like you to explain us a little bit about how teams work. Why are you so passionate about working in teams and making different groups and communities?
Teams are amazing in the fact that each person that comes to the team brings their own life, their own experiences together, and it paints such a beautiful picture. So each of us with our own unique perceptions can help solve any problem together and work and create this amazing solution at the end. In appreciating all of people's uniqueness, I think that's one of the reasons that teams can be really successful. Um, and when I think about teams, the first thing that I have done in my life with teams is to think about one thing that can bring us all together. So, what is the vision? What are we trying to achieve? What's most important? And once the team agrees on that, we have a shared experience, we have a shared goal that we all can work towards and continue to participate and raise our voices and bring them together. Um, there's so many questions in what you asked. Let's see. In my life, I have always been passionate about meeting people and learning about cultures, and appreciating so much. When I grew up in New York City, I lived in a neighborhood, and I was thinking the other day that my best friends were Filipino, Swedish, Korean, Hispanic, Greek, Irish. So I had people from all over the world that were my best friends, and learning from them and understanding them and what they and their families brought to my city, my people. And I always call New York City my people, even though I don't live there anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but your heart is always connected where you were
It
born.
is. Yes. And it just goes back to early beginnings with me, that the appreciation for the differences and the wonderful things I learned growing up. And don't ever want to stop. I never want to stop learning about people.
I know it's a passion. Rebecca, this makes me ask one very personal question. Now that you have mentioned that you are a complete people's person and you like to interact with people no matter where they come from. So, can you say this is your passion to talk to people, get to know about them and their culture more than anything else? Do you enjoy this?
Oh, yes. I don't. It's not my sole passion, but yes, it is. It is. I think of it as just a blessing to be able to have those relationships and to continue to learn and grow with people. Um,
Yeah.
and one of the things I aspire to do is to help others bring out the best in them. So if I can help support somebody and bring out the best in them, they're going to be together on my team better. They're going to feel better about the world that they live in. So yes, loving people, yeah, and where they come from and appreciating it is very important.
Absolutely. I think it also broadens your approach and mind. If we talk to people from all over the place, it just broadens our perspective towards everything, right?
I totally agree with that. There are so many people that I've known in my life that have never left their town or their state. And I just see that as such a sad thing, because they could learn so much and grow so much just by inviting people into their world. And it's amazing with one of the things that is so amazing about this horrible pandemic that we're in is that people I have not known to engage in technology are learning to use and see and understand other people through this video, through video conferencing. I've got whole family members that are talking to each other and seeing each other that haven't seen each other in 10, 20 years because of the distance between us. So in one hand, all this technology is nice. It's bringing people into your home.
Yeah. So we've started getting comments and questions from people who have joined. So Vani says it's a bit hard to fall in place with your teams in this virtual world, especially since you have never ever met them. What's your perspective about that?
Yeah, that has been an issue even before video conferencing. uh, when I guess 10, 15 years back, when I did my first global project and trying to learn and meet and grow with the people on the team, and especially since we weren't co-located, we were dispersed all over the world. It is hard. We have to try harder and ask questions and be interested in order to make the connections that are so much more natural if you're sitting with your peers. So it takes extra
Right.
effort. It is hard, though. I like that we have
Right.
video now. At least I can see people.
Exactly. And then expressions, right? It
Yes.
says a lot.
And backgrounds and people's dogs and their children. And I love all those interruptions. They're just fantastic because I am really involved in someone's home. Oh, one of my
That's
friends,
beautiful.
there's a church that rings their bells at a certain time. I love having calls with her because the bells are going off in the background. So it's nice.
So, Rebecca, this is one of a kind perspective because I have never heard someone saying that. I love the noise and disturbance from the background of your home and the house chorus that's happening because it makes me feel home. It makes me feel like I am at your place.
Yes. It brings a richness that we don't necessarily get in other ways. And it connects me more to what might be keeping you from having a clear conversation with me. If you're distracted by the things that are going around you, I can completely understand and be totally forgiving and not have any issues with it and help you just be okay with where you are, which is so important today.
Oh my gosh. I just feel that people could be, even if they have the empathetic and, soulful and kind as you are, the world will be a better place to live. But never mind.
Every day we
Okay.
can do a little bit more to influence those around us. That's what we can do.
Yeah. So if we just all start understanding each other and what could be wrong at their side, if we just understand from, getting into their shoes,
Yes.
life will be easy, will be more forgiving.
Yes. Agreed. And it's less frightening. I think there are a lot of people who are afraid of difference, um, just because they don't understand it. And so having a conversation like this and having the same issues, somebody's baby crying in the background, or things along those lines, that it really can help connect us in ways that we are not connected.
Yeah. So, Rebecca, before we move on to the next question, I wanted to give you a little compliment because it's coming from my heart. I have invited a lot of guests on my channel so far, but this kind of sweetness, I am totally enjoying it. It has never come out. It has never ever come out like this.
You're welcome. I'm not, I am who I am, Nikki.
That's sweet. And
Thank you.
people also they just agree with me. They just so resonate with me. Uh, Rebecca, that's extremely sweet of you. Vani says.
Thank you, Vani.
So yeah, thanks, Vani. And guys, whoever has joined, please keep commenting. We would love to hear what you think about our conversation. Okay, so Rebecca, like my second question is, what are the qualities and things one must keep in mind while working in a team to keep the environment sanity? Because we all know that everybody is not like-minded and everybody is not thinking alike. What are the qualities one must have? before working in a team?
So in working with a team, what I find most useful is what we were talking about earlier about being open. As a team, being able to come together and agree on how we're going to work as a team. So being honest, being open to difference and change. What else? And to being flexible with the people
Yeah,
around us. Those are very
exactly.
important things. And respecting, oh my goodness, respecting each other.
Mhm. And the difference in opinions, like, do you think respecting every opinion is different, no matter if we go with someone's approach or not?
I do believe that respecting each other's opinions is very, very important. I may not agree with you, but it is important for me to listen and hear you and understand where you're coming from. And hopefully, if we're sharing the same vision of where we want to go, then we can figure out a way to get there together.
Yeah. Okay, so next most important question, why do you think someone can work just alone, and some people like choose to work in a team, but why working in a team is most likely to give you more success in life?
I believe that people who work alone, they are more introverted. They feel better, safer. They can think more clearly. They need a world without distraction, and we need people like that because some people can really excel and become creative and really delve into who they are and be able to give. Um, when we invite people in that kind of thinking together with people who are extroverted and have their own perceptions and can challenge us to grow and to think, um, those when the interactions there are so amazing because we can feed each other, we can connect over ideas and become excited. Um, yes, I agree, Vani. The mixture of people is incredible. We need all perceptions to be able to be successful. So I totally agree. And teams are just, I have been a servant leader in my life. And that is a term that is frequently used in Agile. And as part of my communities of practice, I use that Agile development, that is. And being a servant leader, you help the team to work together, to grow, to bring in their best pieces and together find the solution. And I love doing that. So that's why I think teams are so amazing, and why when you have individual contributors coming in and bringing in, here's a little piece of food for you to see or to eat and to think and to grow, having that combination and making the dynamics is amazing. Appreciating all of that.
Yeah. So, Rebecca, one question, picking up from last response of yours. When 5, 6 people work together, you think it's not a good idea to have your requirements in your mind that this person will join my team and I'm going to ask him to do this particular task, right? So when the person joins in, you are not sure of what he is good at and what he is interested of. Right. So having a list planned that, okay, this person is supposed to do this and nothing else is a good idea or not? What's your take about that?
Well, I have found that when I come with those kinds of expectations, I may be disappointed. Within a team, it's important that we have the list of activities that we need to complete to be successful, to reach our goal.
Mhm.
I don't know each person and all the experience they bring to know that they will be more successful at one thing than another. It's important to allow the team to be able to work together, make choices of what they're passionate about. And then occasionally you have to ask for people to jump on in, right? Where you know they have a special skill set, and ask them to bring that to bear. So I may come with some expectations of what I think people could achieve, but I need to validate them, and I need to make sure that I'm not taking the opportunity away from another team member to shine who might be able to do it better.
Oh, that's beautiful. So, Rebecca, we can always learn from each other, and that's what team is about. But, there are certain kinds of people who probably not really are not really good at knowledge sharing. Let me just, put it forward like, taking an example. If I want some help and I am going to somebody, and the first time I go to that person, the second time I don't want to go to that person because I did not find him really easy and comfortable to speak with. So, how do you think that people could sound approachable so that one can expect help from them?
That is a challenge because not everybody is good at being open. And but we still need their help, right? Sometimes we still need this specific person's help. And so in that moment in time, I try to get into their shoes and see what they may be seeing or feeling, and then bring them into a different environment where I might be able to have a different conversation. So maybe that person, when they're at their desk, in the middle of a thought, in the middle of developing, in the middle of something, is not a good time to bother them. But perhaps if I take them out, making a meeting time with them, especially tell them what I need to hear from them, like an agenda, and what I will get from it, what my objectives are, people can be more open in different circumstances. So giving them a time and a space to be more relaxed and to be open. And there's always the direct approach. If this relationship is really important, then having a conversation, as uncomfortable as it may be, to say, can you please turn in your chair and look at me when I speak to you? That simple things like that. People don't always know that they are doing things to close themselves off. They're caught in their worlds. And we're helping them by letting them see how they are seen from someone else's eyes. So, yeah, having some difficult conversations, depending how important the relationship is a good thing. Not every relationship is meant to be forever, and some are just for specific reasons.
Oh, this caught me. This completely caught me. So, Rebecca, I am giving you an instance. What would you do if you are put under such situation? You want to learn something from somebody, and that person is not really approachable in terms of knowledge sharing, although he's good at heart or she is good at heart. What will be your perspective and the way of initiating that conversation?
It depends if I can actually go see them and talk to them, or if I'm in a video conference like I am with you, I might choose to do things differently. Uh, One, asking them about themselves, and seeing if somebody will respond to that, engaging them and saying, I am so sorry, I didn't mean to bother you, but I really need this information. I've been told you're the best at giving it. So acknowledging that you may not be at the right time, at the right space, but saying, I really appreciate and can respect what you can offer me, in those kinds of words. And persistence, in my life, there has been, the need to be persistent. Sometimes you knock your head against the wall and you learn not to do something again. And sometimes you knock your head against the wall and you open up a brand new view. Um, if I try to see the world through somebody else's eyes, I am much better at getting a relationship with them than if I'm only looking at my through my own eyes.
Absolutely. Broadens your perspective. That's the note we started with, right?
Yes, yes. Let's
Yeah.
see.
So Sneha says something. She's like, sometimes I feel like losing my core strength if I do not delegate the necessary work and try to manage on my own. So, what should I do in that case?
Mm. Yes, and I see also because you say that because you're not sure the given work will be done time with responsibility. Um, I'm going to take a breath here, and we need to weigh out in our lives what is really important. And sometimes trusting people to do the right thing and trusting people to do the right job and trusting people to do it with responsibility, take their own accountability for something is difficult. There's, and sometimes we are not aware of what's blocking them from being successful. Um, but it is so important to allow people to fail because we don't learn. Most people don't learn through the teachings of others. Most people learn because they fail and learn from that. At least that is what the learning theories say, that we're hard-headed. Humans are hard-headed. That experience teaches us more than anything else. So if I do not trust somebody to grow and learn in the task and provide the structure that in which they could do that, so giving them expectations. This will be, you will finish this when you do such, such, and such. Or the stakeholders would be satisfied with this, this, and this. Being able to give them guidelines towards what success looks like. And steps if they don't understand, and asking them, is there anything else I can help you with? Is there anything else I can do to support you? And helping them and guiding them. And maybe they'll get there a little bit later than you would. Um, Sometimes it's just giving them a sense of urgency to what the task is and how it needs to be accomplished.
Yeah.
But again, those are the things that I would do in those cases. It it's hard to trust, but we have to do it. And if we don't do it, we deprive people of the experiences they need to learn and grow.
Awesome. So, Rebecca, on that similar note, if I share you my perspective about, if we are starting something on our own, like a single body, like the way I'm doing these things, YouTube and everything, it's really hard for me to trust somebody else and, hand over some work that I'm doing. Why? Because I think I'll get this done very quickly. Okay, I'll get this done very quickly. But if I continue to think like that, I will be in a nutshell that I am doing the same thing all over the years. But if I delegate some responsibility and pass on the legacy, then what will happen after 2, 3 years? I can think of expanding, I can think of growing, because now all of the work I don't have to do particularly on my own.
You've planted the seeds. You've taught people to fish. Yes. And then you have your support system there for you. That's beautiful.
Yeah. It takes time, it takes a lot of patience to guide, to tell them what to do, and also a lot of patience because you have to continuously bang your head. But somehow it pays off. It pays off.
Just in being able to watch somebody take pride in the things that you have taught them to do, that's amazing. That's heartfelt.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sure Sneha, you got your answer very beautifully from Rebecca. Okay. So now Ritesh says, sometimes I am not able to achieve the velocity in team. They work very fast, and sometimes also they are not able to achieve my velocity. Any solution for that? That wavelength difference basically he's talking about.
Yeah. Um, you've got an interesting dilemma there, Ritesh. uh, that is the thing about working together as a team. Sometimes, if you move faster, you can stop and help somebody else and help them get to speed with you. Um, or if there are many people coming to you for that support and you are not able to achieve your velocity, that is hard as well. So when we're creating a team, especially a team that is meant to be together for a very long time, having the conversations and negotiations between team members on how you can help. If you have extra time, what can you do to help somebody else speed up? That velocity, that will change over time. It'll change over the way that the team's relationships and trust builds over. It also has to do with people's personal circumstances and how much time and attention they can put towards tasks trying to achieve as a team. It There's just so many things that can affect a person's ability to work and to work well and to work well with a team, that if you feel like you are outspeeding them, slow down, find out how you can help, see what else you can do. If they are outspeeding you, make sure you raise your hand and ask for help. That's a scary place to be if you're not the expert all the time. But nevertheless, it is, you're honoring somebody else with intentions by asking for help.
Exactly. And also, Rebecca, what I feel is not everybody's learning curve and, grabbing the information is similar.
Yeah.
Everybody grows with their own pace. And we must respect that because not everybody is like us or we are not like them. And
Yes. And things in ways that people can, excel, I certainly cannot. There are things in my life that I will never do well despite my endeavor, like knitting. I am not a knitter. I try multiple times, but still, I'm not achieving my goals there. So I let my sister-in-law knit. That's good. um, but those are not critical life things. They're just trying to achieve a skill somewhere.
nice. Okay, so moving towards a different section of our podcast today. So, women in tech and women in leadership. So, Rebecca, why do you think women can be really good in leadership? Like they can completely slay the leadership role if given a chance.
I think probably what is uniquely feminine, and I'm not going to say belongs to women alone, but feminine, is the nurturing that women are socialized to have. And it is a very feminine thing to nurture things, to grow. And uh, we can apply that to our relationships everywhere within communities, the nurturing, the listening, the patience, the silent support, the ability to really think before we speak. We can do all these things really well. And it is definitely a wonderful thing when other people allow us in to do that. Um, the one thing that we have to do as women in leadership is to take our space. That is one thing we need to learn, is to say that we deserve to be in this world. Our opinions matter. Our thoughts are supported. What I say and do connects me to you. And it's a world that we are constantly breaking through and negotiating everywhere. And removing the labels that come with a woman who is more forward. There are some bad words that are used with some women who may be seen as bossy, but really what we are is just expressing our opinion. And coming from a man, that may not be seen in the same way.
Right.
We need to get our advocates and our supporters everywhere around the world to support women leaders. We're incredible thinkers and we nurture things to grow. How could that be wrong?
Yeah. So, Rebecca, do you think women have that extra beauty of being really empathetic at work, at home, everywhere? We somehow think from our hearts, and that's what makes them stand out as well, even being really professional about things.
I agree. Yeah, being able to be empathetic and live and breathe someone else's reality and then support them and nurture the communities in which I'm interacting in. I want to listen, I want to understand, and I want to support and give people what they need to grow within the community and to grow the community. And that goes with teams and people and the people I know here in North Carolina. So my group.
Okay.
Yes, empathy is amazing.
And they completely stand out because if you are talking to a leader who is completely emotional and you can relate to them and they can actually visualize and see your pains, your pain points, and they are making your life comfortable at work. This is amazing. I think it's the beautiful quality a leader can have.
I also agree that when we're empathetic, we are better at our authentic selves. So we are being more authentic, we are being in the moment. And those are very important things when we are leading.
Yeah. So, backing on to next question is, what are some qualities that you think are, you know, important to have in women leaders and that makes them stand out and make their projects very successful?
Uh, Authentic leadership, uh, humility, understanding that I don't have all the answers, being empathetic, uh, persistent, persevere. That is so important to continue to put your next foot forward. Um, Listening is a very important skill and not one that everybody has. So doing that as well. Those are some of the things I think are most important in leadership.
Oh, that's nice. I got one question in the comment box. Is
Yeah.
it better to put all emotions in a task that you do at work, or is it better not to put too much emotions because if you fail, it's going to come hard on you for people with jobs.
Yeah. I actually think that doesn't just mean people with jobs. I have a hard time not putting emotion into things that I do because for me, that helps me feel better about what I do. When I
Hmm.
hear, when I hear that, it's, I want to encourage people to be in a growth mindset. And what that means to me is that a failure is an opportunity to learn. So whether or not I'm emotionally invested in what I am doing, whether it's raising my child or putting together a schedule at work or um, cleaning my house, these things all give me an opportunity if I believe that I can grow and learn and that I may not know the right way to do everything and that perhaps I fail and have to research, perhaps I fail and have to talk to somebody to help learn. It's I am growing, and to not grow is the saddest part of all. And if me not putting my emotions into something makes me not grow, then I am hurting myself.
Okay, so is the answer very clear to being natural of your own flow, how it comes out naturally from within, and not trying to be someone else?
Yes, I think that's perfect summary. Yes.
I have often seen, Rebecca, if we just try to do something against our own nature, it will fall apart. It will just not work. Right?
Yes, I agree. Don't force things. Yes.
Awesome. So I ask everybody, I encourage everybody to put all the questions that you might have with Rebecca. And we are towards the, I am towards the end of the questions that I had planned. But if you want to continue asking questions, please go ahead and post your questions. Okay. So, Rebecca, what is your one advice for women who are young and who want to be great leaders in future? What are the some mistakes that you want them not to do?
I don't want them to be alone. I I struggled in my life, feeling like I had to do things by myself, and I believe that that made it so much harder for me. That if I brought people in and allowed them to support me and nurture me in my growth, getting mentors, uh, talking about the things that stopped me from taking the next step, that that would have been so integral. I just could have done so much more. So don't be alone. Don't feel alone. Bring people in. Give yourself a support system. Give yourself uh, people who can help you grow. They can be men, they can be women. Bring in the people that you're interested in, because maybe you'll find out if you talk to them, you're not so interested in that anymore. And that's okay too. Exploration and understanding ourselves is just a very important journey we have to take. So, women, young women in tech, bring in people, explore ideas, get your support system, and then just rock it. Keep going and going and going.
Awesome. Absolutely. Rebecca, what is one thing that you could have avoided when you started as a leader when you were very young? And after 25 years of experience, that's crazy. When I say 25 years, it's like, my gosh, it's so difficult to survive and continuously grow and just be as awesome as you are today.
uh, I guess the one thing that I would have done differently, as I said, would be to not feel alone. And if I felt alone, I would have wanted myself to reach out more. And that is so hard sometimes. It is just so hard how the things in our worlds make us feel that we cannot break out. And so I would say, at all costs, break out.
Great. I see one question. How shall it tackle when women become enemies of a growing women? I think we get to hear this a lot lately because we have seen this, Rebecca, all over
Yes,
the world, not just here. What's
that
your
is
take?
true. It is very sad to see that when it happens. And I imagine that those women who are enemies of other women, I imagine that their life has been very, very hard, that they have been molded into someone who has to undermine another person to feel successful, to feel powerful. That is a very bad place to be in your own. To feel powerful by pushing someone else down is very limiting and very sad. Um, when I see that happen today, I try to address it again with those hard conversations. But one must always go with the expectation that their opinion is not going to change. Why? Because I don't think I'm all that powerful necessarily. There's a lot of things that happen in our lives that make us become who we are. Sometimes I feel it is my responsibility to try to show a mirror to those people who are so hurt. I think they must be so hurt. So maybe showing them more compassion, even if it isn't, is where I need to go with that.
Yeah. And it is so important to address this question. I'm thankful to the person who has posted it
Yes.
because it is important to address. Often we see women criticizing women, women for not being acceptable and, completely, I mean, encouraging what different choices the other women has in life. It is also often seen because she is not doing like me, she's wrong.
Yes. And that's not right.
That's not.
We need everybody in this world to make it the creative, wonderful, mind awe-inspiring world that we have. And sometimes it takes those, those people who put down others to let me see my joy, to see where I am succeeding, and in essence, excelling beyond that woman, that person.
Yeah. We don't know the struggles behind that one person, where she's coming
Right.
from. Again, that you said, if we try to, understand where that person is coming from by the way they are speaking, we could be really happy, and the world would be better, and
Yes.
our perspective would be broadened. Okay.
Agreed.
So, one more question coming from Sneha. Hard work doesn't really make me tired, but a thought that why only am I supposed to do this or that? Why can't they also contribute specially?
Yeah.
This is this makes me laugh, but this is so serious. This is so serious, especially in India. Trust me, Rebecca, it is so serious in India.
Yes, I am sorry that your family does not think they need to contribute.
No, it's like applied to everybody, trust me, because they have
Oh,
divided work based on gender.
yes.
Yeah, I don't know why.
The United States very much is the same way, or has a history of being the same way. It has taken outspoken women, and it has taken wars where women could move into the roles of men, where men were removed. It has taken much, much time and persistence at highlighting who we all are. There might just be a guy out there that wants to do housework. It may be icky, but my brother, he raised his children and his wife went to work. So in my own family, there was a total change. My brother was Mr. Mom, and he excelled in that nurturing role. And his wife had a PhD and she went to work. And because they didn't stick to those roles that everybody else says they should be in, their family is incredibly successful. But we have to speak up all the time around things like that. Allow people to be who they are.
Exactly. And the next moment she says, how to overcome that thought. Sneha, seriously, you made it so, engaging and nice. How to overcome that thought? You are not thinking it wrong. You're thinking it right.
I would start saying mantras. I am okay. I don't have to be the one. Sometimes we need to do a lot of self-talk, meditation to help ourselves believe the things we want to believe. So yes, it is hard to overcome that way of thinking.
It is hard, especially it's been years of legacy of men doing this, women doing this. It's not one
Yes,
person who can make a change, but I always believe you should be the change maker. Start it. Start it on your own level,
that's right.
um, because we also deserve a life, right?
Yes, yes, we do. And hopefully
Yeah.
it's the life we want and not the life we've been given. We need to appreciate what we've been given, but we need to make what we want.
Oh my gosh. Rebecca, when you speak, it's like my goosebumps. I'm going to that thinking mode. This is deep. This is really deep. I'm sure everybody is enjoying listening to you. I'm not sure everybody joined that moment when Rebecca said it's beautiful to have disturbance in meetings because it feels like somebody's child is crying, somebody's pressure cooker is working, but it feels home.
Yeah. I have been invited into your homes in ways that I could not have been before.
Yeah.
So thank you for letting me be there with you.
That's beautiful. I've never heard something I've never heard. So I am thinking if anybody has any more questions, guys, feel free to post in. Meanwhile, I'll continue to keep chatting for 5 minutes, 5 more minutes, and then we'll wrap up. Okay, Rebecca, Sneha says she's completely satisfied with your answer, and they are stunned with your words.
Yes. Your next mindful thinking, your next meditation session, start talking to yourself. Give
Yeah,
yourself the permission to say what you need to say to feel better about where you are and where you want to go.
right, and that's what life means. Um, Rebecca, like, talking about you, I'm just coming back to your life now. Um, there could be some hardships also, though you belong to a very moderate, very, developed nation with a lot of broad minded attitude in people. But also, I see that discrimination all over the world. Of women are supposed to do that, men are not supposed to do that, and stuff like that. What is one thing that you faced on your personal level, and how did you grow up, like, came out of it very beautifully?
That's a difficult question. There have been lots of challenges, lots of places that I have fought to grow. Um, so, my parents divorced when I was very young, and my mother, when with the where we lived was not an affluent area, and there was all of us were together, and this is where I had such a wonderful mesh of different people. Um, but it was a very angry place as well, because I think it's clear that when people don't have a lot of money to achieve what they think they need to achieve, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of anger, and yet there's a lot of love and a lot of creativity that can happen simultaneously. And I have to say that I was not the nicest of people when I was younger. I was angry. I was very, very angry. Um, and of it took a lot to stop and to think and to move, because I felt so trodden down that the people that I interacted with, the things I chose to do, and today I can go back and say, I chose this. It's a transformation to go from you did this to me, or it did this to me, or these circumstances made me, to I made my choices. I can be something else. I can create something else. I can learn something else. So going from the struggle to go from an angry young woman who felt victimized, and in many ways I was, with who I hung out with and what I did, to a more enlightened person. I was able to get out of the city, which was very important for me. I needed to leave New York City to go to college. Um, I went to college. I couldn't afford it. I got lots of loans and paid them off most of my life. But it was in college that I could start to begin to come out of that victim and no longer be oppressed as a female, no longer be oppressed by my circumstances. Um, Education was one way that I was able to lift myself up. And if the places in our world that are now coming to try to educate women, to try to lift them up from being oppressed, the ability to read, just read, is not something we should take for granted, because just 50, 60 years ago in the United States, that was still a problem. Not everybody could read. Not everybody had the right to have education. So just bringing in ways that you could experience education, either if it's not formal but informal, to help bring yourself, lift yourself up, and try to get connected to your spirit, whether you call your spirit God or Allah, or bringing together how you are connected with other people is so important.
Oh my God, I am just so mesmerized with the way you've spoken it. So Rebecca, a lot of women, they sacrifice their own life just for the sake of their family, because they got married early in their life, and they just put in the 100% of themselves into the service of the family. I am calling it a service to the family because you have just indulged yourself for for the sake of themselves. It's just nothing about you thereafter. So,
Yes.
how do you want them to enlighten themselves, and the rest of the life, the rest of the life, they can think about themselves now that they are done with doing and thinking about everybody else.
That is probably one of the hardest transitions I've heard for women to make, is to go from a life of service to others, which is a beautiful, incredible thing. Without mothers, how do we grow? Or fathers that act like mothers? How do we know how to navigate the world without our parents? So living life in service to another is an incredible sacrifice and an incredible, beautiful thing. So one thing is to remember not to put oneself down for having put their own needs second. That is an incredible sacrifice. It is beautiful. Embrace it. I understand now. If you can appreciate yourself for who you have been, now you can start thinking about, what am I interested in? What in my life sparked something that I couldn't reach out to at the time? And just to, again, be creative, start talking to people, break the isolation. You are not alone. Together, you can grow with other women like yourself and do things that are amazing. Not to say that the things that you have already done are not amazing. Raising a family, incredible.
That is so beautiful. I am in love with this podcast. I can loudly say, Rebecca, this was one of the most sweetest, most chilling, and most laid back and talking about life kind of podcast and conversation, because the world is so negative right now. So negative. Um, Women, I see women completely overburdened with this work from home culture. Why? Not
Yes.
just directly but indirectly as well. Now that everybody is home, a lot of expectations on them have suddenly increased, right?
Yes.
They have to just double the work. Now that everybody is chilling at home, they have to double their work.
Yeah. That is so true. That is incredibly true. I mean, it's probably was a nice thing when children went out to school or husband went to work off out in the world, gave some downtime, maybe some time to think. Now everything's around all the time. How can people think in a world like that? You have to make space. You have to make space for yourself somehow. It is important to find that little bubble of space. I don't
Exactly.
know. Find it wherever you can. Fight for it. It's important. I don't understand how people can recharge and without having some space. And I know physically in cultures around the world, not my own, I am so grateful for where I am today. Uh, that the houses are very small, and to have space in a place that doesn't have an outside is hard. I probably would spend a good portion of time meditating. Meditating. I think I would put a lock on the bathroom door and meditate.
Yeah, whatever helps. You know what, Rebecca, I'll share you one very quick, very silly incident. I like to tease my mother for what she does for her me time. And you know what she will do is she will neglect everybody. Do hell with yourself. Okay? And she will And what she will do is she will, surf her internet, surf her phone, WhatsApp, whatever she likes to do, and we'll keep calling her, give her, give me some water, give me some food, or she will be like, this 1 hour is me time. Give me
Nice.
my me time and just get over.
Yes, that is beautiful. Yay for your mom.
9 people in the house, and she's like 24/7. I'm listening to you guys. Give me 1 hour for myself, right?
Yes. Fight for it. And, at that time, people will learn that they can get their own food, that they can get their own water. It's an hour. And if they have to wait for her to do it, then that's what I guess they'll do.
That's right. So,
Yes.
hats off to all the moms, all the women out there. You
Yes.
are so special and incredibly loving, because not only you are living for yourself, but each member around you at your place. So, which
Yes.
is commendable.
One of the most important jobs we can have. Yes.
Yeah. So, with that note, I don't think there are any more questions, but I have a feeling like everybody, including me, has thoroughly enjoyed today's podcast. This weekend was worth it. This conversation was completely worth it. And Rebecca, thank you so much for
Oh, thank
having.
you. Thank you. This has been incredible for me as well. Thank you, Nikita.
Thank you. Any last words for the viewers out there?
Take care of yourself. Make sure you put you first for a little bit. If we don't recharge, it's hard to continue to give.
Absolutely. If you are not happy, people around you will not be happy. So you just need to make sure and take care of yourself, guys.
Yes. Take
Yeah.
care. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Rebecca. With that note, we are concluding to today's conversation. We'll meet tomorrow, 7 p.m., with some another podcast and agenda. So, meantime, happy weekend, guys, and stay safe.
Bye.